Right, this should be live. Right. Okay. Right, if anyone's there, if you could just let me know. Getting fed up with these fucking hackers ruining people's lives. Fed up with it. Right, that's the new link. So if anyone's there, if you could just say hello, that would be great. Okay. Right, thanks. Ian, Colin, Trevor. This is what happens when you get your computer hacked. It's a fucking cunt. Absolute cunt. What he did this. Sorry about my language. I get fucking fed up with all of this. I'm having to rebuild my life because of this prick. So let's get back to the football. Oh, I wish I could get my hands on that fucker. I really do. Torture the cunt to death. Right, let's get going. I'll just calm down. Right. We've already had a couple of surprise results earlier on. A couple of relegation threatened sides winning. So just be careful. And looks like this is messing me about as well. Hope you did insurance earlier on that one. So let me just compose myself, get back into it. I am sorry about this. I'm just very frustrated with these people. You know, I'm having to completely change everything now. So let's see if we can get a decent session out of this. Well, 1.9 favourite Hanover. Wolverhampton Wanderers, well, a bit like Newcastle yesterday, seem to have just one up over the lower tier sides. Köln and Schalke, well, Schalke do need points, and that should signal. Well, we've got some odds on favourites, so they'll put them in the list here. That looks to be dead in the water, Karlsruhe. So just watch out for these underdogs today. Well, not underdogs, relegation threatened sides, a bit like Tenerife, although they have conceded first. We've already had two shocks today, two relegation threatened sides getting the 3 points. Almere against 1.4 Utrecht. And we had, I think it was a Swans against Bristol City earlier on. But I did tell you, you had to take insurance out there because of the amount of 1-0s defeats for Swansea, suggesting they're very capable of keeping things quiet. Basel are having a superb season at the moment, top of the league, but the market suggesting 2.2 the favourite, that Servette might be in with a shout. So just watch out for that. But Basel, back to rare old form. Used to be them and the young boys for the title. So let's work our way down. Aberdeen, well, blessed relief from the SPL, given an easy shot against a championship side, and they're back on a winning footing, but you couldn't trust them in the domestic league. We had some good results from Poland yesterday. It's only a couple of matches in to the season. Ajax and Fortuna Sittard. Well, on paper, you've got to be with Ajax, 1.44. Fortuna Sittard sitting 8th, and they are in with a shout at Europe. So bear that in mind. Don't forget, look at this, 17th in the league, winning 3-0 against the top tenner. That's the third match today where we've had a relegation threatened side winning against the odds. You're going to see that a lot now, February all the way to April. We're going to see it time and time again. So I'll have to check on you intermittently on YouTube. It was meant to be a free-for-all as well, so I've missed that opportunity, which is a pity. So if there is anyone out there who can chase up thieving bastards on crypto, I've got all his wallets. So if you can help me and get the money back, I will give you a very nice reward. So if you do know anything about crypto and can follow throughout a blockchain, addresses, etc., please do get in touch. The absolute bell end has left his withdrawal addresses there and there. So I've got all the details. I just need to find the culprit and then remove his testicles, which would be, I might live stream that. That might get a few views. So if you are crypto savvy, please do get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to get some deal going with you if we could track this person down. I'm getting fed up with it, having to make all these changes, which are no fault of my own, you know. But let's hold on firm, stick with the footy today. That's what you're here for, not to hear me whinging about life's ills. English FA Cup, well, we've already got that Wolves lead. Czech One League, worth following. We've got, I think, 4 out of 4 odds on favourites today in the Czech One League. I'm just getting prepared. 2 o'clock will bring with it the Italian Serie A. So I hope you're all okay over in YouTube. Basel, 2 goals ruled out in the first half, says Bosun. And if that is a 0-0 at half time, thank you very much, Bosun. I'm going to try and get your comments up so I don't have to keep returning all the time. I've got to get Football 24 up as well. Aberdeen making it 3-0. So let's see if I can get the comments up. Try Football Trading Profits again. The live stream. So excuse me for a sec. That way I can interact with you. Just having to make these changes. Red Bull Salzburg 0-0 at half time. Can you trust them? That is the question. So I've got the Sunday 3 up. So let's see what we can see today. So these should be, I should have done all of these odds on favourites earlier on. So let's get cracking with that. Don't forget what Bosun has just mentioned about Basel. They are in brilliant form, top of the league, but they're not favourite today. Note that against Servette, but they are expected. There we go. Look, 17th in the league, winning 0-1. You had to take insurance out. If you had soccer stats up, you'd see Swansea so many 1-0 defeats against top sides, meaning they can keep things quiet. Reims will be needing points. What chance? Another upset. Lille lost yesterday as well. So you're going to see these results. We can't take the market at face value. I think I've done the majority of the odds on favourites, just missing a few out here. They are an important element in getting yourself some trading angles. VVV Venlo really should have scored in that particular match, but didn't. Hope you're all okay, because I can't get this up on my laptop. Not my laptop, my tablet. Lech Poznan, odds on. Portuguese La Liga 2, probably worth a look. And we'll just keep working our way down. I've done most of the odds on favourites, so that's okay. Just missing out the odd one. La Liga 2. And we should be up and running. There's Basel, as Bosun says. Don't forget, when you get a 0-0 at half time, do check it out. as Bosun says there, one of them was a handball, but they're not favourite today. Just be careful with that. 2.15, the favourite. They are not favourite today, Basel. A bit like Sassuolo the other day when they weren't favourite. They actually lost. But check out soccerstats.com and you can check out any evidence for a 0-0 ending second half. So let's do that while you're trying to solve this puzzle here. I haven't got this one solved just yet. Will that turn the water into steam? I don't know. Let's go and check. Basel out and Servette. Looks like I've got your live chat coming up, so that's good. So feel free to comment. As Bosun said, thanks very much, Booker. I do appreciate your kind words. But if anything you can take from my story, it's don't be complacent, ever. And there's the goal coming. Servette have just scored it against Basel. That's what I was worried about. But a side who do like draws, and I'm hearing myself. Look at all those draws: 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 2-2. A bit like a roadie for Led Zeppelin. So this might not be over. Second half goals. Second half goals. A second half goal. No second half goals. 2 second half goals. So there is a second half goal record. Basel, well, they're in exceptional form. They have clicked this season. They've been a little bit out of sorts. They had a 1-1, 2-2. Let's just check out the challenge table, see if there's anything to suggest vulnerability. Well, not really for Servette. They'll be very confident, albeit I was looking at second, third, fourth and fifth, but quite comprehensively beaten twice this season by Basel. But Basel's Achilles heel is their performances against the top 5 away from home. They have yet to win and they've conceded 2 goals at least. It's not one I want to play, really. I do like Basel. Watch out for Lazio, 102 attacking pressure index, 25 minutes in. If you fancy to play there, you've always got the half-time market to think about with that one. Okay? Particularly when it's hitting 102 attacking pressure index for Lazio. So be creative. That's the Bristol City. Had to take out insurance. You had to. You had to. That was not for debate if you played Bristol City Swans. Not up for debate, that one. I think it's 4 of 5 1-0 defeats and a 0-0 away against the top 10 for the Swans, i.e. they can keep this lot quiet. They can keep them to 0 if they wanted to. Lazio dominating the early rounds. This will be a speculative play. First half goals 0.5, probably not going to be high enough. Or is it? That's quite tasty, really. You're getting a touch of evens about that. That's just for a single goal. Now I've got Football 24's decided not to, there we go, make any noises. We do need to have an auditory alert for goals coming in. So Lazio, Monza, pushing the boat out. This costs little, doesn't? But you're asking for quite a lot with only 15 minutes or so to go. So the best way to do it is to delay. Now, while I'm on the subject of 0-0s, I've been doing a little bit of, you probably know, I've forgotten what it's called now. You probably know Steve Davidson, don't you? From winningmore.com. Now, we've got some smart cookies here. Well, these are the These are my members of staff, of course, for footballtradingprofits.com. She's in charge of looking for goals before half time. She's in charge of both teams to score, and she's in charge of finding stats for the second half goals. So it's a team working hard for you, as you can see here. He's got this new system out. I've sussed it out, but I haven't sussed out how he makes his selection. So if you just allow me to indulge, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, I've got it here, I think, in my favorites bar. So let's have a look. pitchprofitfooty.com. Now this could be a nice addition to Football Trading Profits, because this is a bet and go strategy. So if I can ask a few of you to have a look at pitchprofitfooty.com. I know the staking plan, it's Fibonacci. Okay. I know the winning bets. The staking is Fibonacci, it's quite clear. After a win, you just remain at 1. After a loss, well, you should. Yeah. So you start 1, 1, 2, then you add the previous, and that become 1, 2, 3, 5. The next stake would be 8. Now, these wins, I was just drawn to it because I was mentioning this. These wins are 0-0s at half time. I think I've concluded that. Now, you don't have any form to work with, so how on earth did he make that first selection? That's what I'm puzzled with. How do you make that first selection? Because you've got no form to work with. How do you make these selections? Looks like it's one per a fixture. There's also a number of similar teams. If you look at the Germany ones, Mönchengladbach appears a lot. So I don't know how they picked them, maybe based on last season. But as you can see, this has real potential. So any of you out there, pitchprofitfooty.com. I've already sussed it out. It's Fibonacci. It's 0-0 at half time, backing 0-0 at half time. Lazio, while I was rabbiting on, get that goal 31st minute. So did you look at that 1.98? Did you look at that 1.98? I'll just turn Dr. Stephen Hawking down a little bit. I'm not sure you can hear him, but I can hear him. 1-0. So that 0.5, 1.98 did look a little bit of value, didn't it? And it's guaranteed now. So that's an angle in. 2.5. It was at 1.04 to lay. That's going up ever so slightly because we've still got 15 minutes to go. So look at that in the future. Any 100 pluses. Try to get yourself in, look for a goal, and maybe get yourself out if the momentum starts going back down again. So I hope you played that. There we go. This has ended, alas. So just a reminder, pitchprofitfooty.com. Any of you who can come over, have a look at these. I know we've got a few bright sparks amongst you. It's a 0-0 at half-time backing system using Fibonacci. But how does he make his selections? That's your task. You can see Bournemouth there, and then suddenly Bournemouth don't appear for X number of matches. So I don't understand that one, because they're both losing bets. So it's not a Fibonacci sequence based on the individual teams. It's based down. How do they make a single selection? That's what I need to know, because there's no form at the start of the season. So if you can suss that one out for me, we might have a good little backing system to work with. So watch out for these 0-0s at half time. So you can see that I did a look through. I think these ones earlier on. Augsburg appeared a lot. Augsburg, 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 Augsburg. And Holston Kiel have scored first against Bochum Dano in a relegation 6-pointer. So please, pitchprofitfooty.com. I'll leave that link there for you. Hi, Tads, nice to see you. Can you suss out the match selection process for 0-0 first half and Fibonacci? That's your homework. So get going with it. And I look forward to seeing if any of you can crack pitch profit footy. Save us a few quid. Nice of Steve to give us all of these results to work with. I'm pretty convinced they are 0-0 at half time. That's the only thing I can see working, fitting in. I was looking at both teams to score, etc. It is 0-0 at half time. It's a very unique niche, but how do they make their selections at the start of a season when you have no form? So if you can suss that one out for me, and it's 2-0 to Servette. That's all there in the market. I warned you about this. They're in brilliant form, but I think Bosun was mentioning as far as laying that 0-0 second half, it's always a neutral play. And if the team scores 2 consecutive goals, that's your definite out of any lay the draw second half. So just be careful when the market doesn't speak. It sometimes gets it very accurate, gets it very right. Did it with Sassuolo the other week, and they actually lost. And then they came back yesterday. Was it 3 or 4 goals they scored yesterday? So that about sums that one up. Now, if you fancied a bit of a play, given the score draw itis of Servette, 2-0, as you well know, is an extremely good angle. And as Bosun has said, Basel have had a goal disallowed already. This is a very, very low entry point, incredibly low. It's not going to harm you at all. Look at that. So it's not going to be worry money. You'll be in for a good journey with the league leaders against a side who are score drawing far too often. Keep your liability low. Lyon have the opening goal against Reims. This is a Reims side who desperately need points. So this might not be over. Lille lost yesterday. Bristol City lost earlier on today. Utrecht 1.4 home favourite lost. So if you are going to take on these underdogs leading by a single goal, you must take out insurance. They are clinging on for dear life. Look at the liability for league leaders with a whole half to go who've already scored but had a goal disallowed in the first half. The market was quite clear. Not favourites today, Basel. You must take that into account. But look at this risk reward. I think it's well worth a go, isn't it? But pretty much the whole half to go. Worth a go. League leaders, Basel, had a goal disallowed first half. So it's a low liability. V, a home side collecting far too many score draws. So that makes sense. It's low liability. That's what we like. And you know all about Sundays. They are tricky days. Well, they're days where we go to the lesser lights, mostly. Well, this looks very much against the run of play, doesn't it? Spezia, third in the league, against Palermo in the 35th minute. Now, you might want to do a half-time play like we did in Lazio, given it's very similar profile, isn't it? 3, 12, 4, 4, 10, 4. Very similar profile. If they don't get that equaliser before half-time, we can always have a tilt second half after we've done our research into Italian Serie B. But third in the league, they've got the the carrot of automatic promotion, Spezia Palermo. So let's have a look at this one. Spezia and Palermo. Half time, very, very low liability. So it'll be nothing for you to worry about. You can see there 1.24 to lay Palermo. Half-time score, similar, 1.39. You could have a look at the 1-1 or even go 1-1-2-1 if you fancied that. But it looks like the shortest price is this one. Now what you can do, you can start drip laying from now, or you can do what I think Andy did yesterday, Andy or Alan, I can't remember the name, with that Turkish side. Parma have scored first against Cagliari. That's Cagliari Calcio and Parma Calcio. Parma scoring first. I think that's a relegation 6-pointer as well. So we can start drip laying this if you wanted to. 1.25 or lower to win a fiver. 1.19 and lower to win a fiver. 1.14 or lower to win a fiver. And odds-on favourites Rijeka in the Croatian HNL1 League are a goal down to Istra. That could be one to follow. I will up my stake to 23. No, because I'm using a fiver, it'll be to 11. So just keep that under a quid. And 1.06. So if you just wanted to stop at 109, 106, that will save you a lot of money. Parma goal has been disallowed, by the way. So this would be about 15 or 16 quid. There we go. Okay. Now, if we capture an equaliser before half time, great. If we don't, it's going to cost you about 3 or 4 quid. But you can also get involved again in the second half. It does look a good profile. And look at that, 108. You just saw that with Lazio, didn't you? You saw that with Lazio earlier on. Once you get to this 100 plus, it's real momentum. It can often translate into a goal. So we've got 7 minutes to half time. Could be a long 7 minutes for Palermo because this is one-way traffic for Spezia. We can have a quick break and check this out. Probably looking at a tilt at a top 2 place today, Spezia. Palermo will be looking at a promotion playoff place. We can't discount any team now, as you've seen already. 2 underdogs winning already today against the run of play by a single goal. Only 2 defeats all season for Spezia. They look pretty rock solid, don't they? Palermo, 2-1-2 defeats in a row. The last 4 defeats have been 1-2. The last 5 defeats have been 1-2. That's quite something. Does suggest, well, no defeat in 11 at home. Scoring and conceding in the last 3 at home. No draw in 10. And conceding in the last 5 away. 3rd against 8th. 2-0 defeat for Spezia last time. One of only 2 defeats all season. So at home, they are unbeaten at home. Sides very rarely score that second goal. I've only done it once. And that has a feel of a consolation goal about it. Just checking. Yeah, your comments haven't come up on my Telegram, so apologies for that. Not on my Telegram, I mean, there it is now. Can I open a chat link for the group think tank? That would be a good idea, Paul. If you could tell me how to do that, that would be excellent. And Ajax win takes them to the same points as PSV, so there's huge motivation for Ajax today. Thanks very much, Bosun. So, Paul, if you can help me with a chat link, maybe I can do that on Telegram, can I? Open up a chat link on Telegram and we can have a real good go at this pitchprofitfooty.com. If you can suss out the match selection process. Because I can't for the life of me understand how this, amongst all of the other matches when you don't have any form in the book. It can be a selection. Later on, yes, September, October, November, you've got your first half stats, don't you? And it'd be quite a simple job. You've got a dedicated column here for this 0-0. And you'll see the correlation. These are winning plays, 0-0s at half time. But it's just a matter of making the selections. I don't understand that. Parma goal disallowed, but watch out for Rijeka against Istra. So I'll be waiting your ideas, Paul, about a dedicated chat page or chat links. That would be excellent. And if you've got any ideas how to set one up, Paul, I'd be all ears. Thank you very much. I've also got a possibility of getting some additional betting systems as well. Let's see if we can add not just trading, but a bet and go strategy. That's what I'd be really keen on as well. So I've got Rijeka and Rijeka and Istra. As you can tell here, it's a 1.57 home favourite, Rijeka. Second in the league against Istra. So we've got all that motivation. I think but league position is key at this stage of the season. Bosun's already given you motivation about Ajax today. Fortuna Sittard knocking on that door as well themselves for not automatic, but Champions League, Conference League, Europa League places. So Spezia Palermo. Let's just have a look. Continue our look down. Third in the league against eighth. And Spezia's second half scoring record, is it good? Well, last 15 minutes, it's very good. So we might be onto something if they can get a goal before half time. That would be excellent. I'm just trying to find a way that these comments will come up automatically. So excuse me there. Look at that. I think we've got a good chance of goal second half if Palermo weather this storm in the last 15 minutes of the first half. 2/3 of goals conceded by Palermo have come second half. It does look good, doesn't it? And what we can also do is just have a look at well, you can do that here, can't you? Palermo and Spezia. Don't forget the live standings at this stage of the season. Vitally important because it gives you that motivation that Bosun's talking about with Ajax. It does also give you consideration for taking on draws because draws aren't very helpful at this stage of the season. They were for Derby yesterday, but not generally speaking. So Spezia add 3 points to that. They're breaking into the 50-point barrier, particularly with Pisa losing to Cittadella yesterday, as we know very well. We were following that match. Got a suspended market. That's a goal back for Basel. Not so faulty after all. Well worth a punt. Top of the league. What's the damage? Still 15 minutes to go. That is looking good. So I'll just pass that on to telegrammers. Just to let you know that there's been a goal. Servette 2, Basel 1. We've still got 15 minutes to go. Sitting nicely on this. You're getting a risk reward of 1-1. So if you risk more than my £5.50, you're going to get about the equivalent back. But 15 minutes to go. Top of the league. Basel. 32 quid on the draw. 126 if Basel win. And it's about 1-1 risk reward if you want to take the money now for that single 2-1. I think we're in a good position here. They have the momentum, Basel, but they're not favourite today because they're playing a top 6 Servette. So good stuff. I like that. Nice low risk play, isn't it? That's all helped a little bit as well by Bosun letting us know about Basel having a goal or two disallowed in the first half. It's always a sign, a good sign. And look at that, it's nearly a 2-to-1 risk reward there. So it's all dependent on the amount you've risked. If you want to get out, that's a pretty good return, isn't it? Relative to what you've risked. Put that decimal point to one place to your right, that becomes 92 quid. So if you can compound your betting bank and keep compounding the size of your stakes relative to your betting bank as it increases, maybe one day you'll get to the £55 liability here. And then these will be very, very rewarding. And you'll be able to take a lesser risk and get out straight away just with the single goal. So excellent stuff from Basel. In brilliant form. They've been in the wilderness for quite a while. Oh, they told Basel 40 yet? Don't mention the war, Sean. I mentioned it once, and I think I got away with it. All right. I love a bit of Basel. I'm going to send you to a vivisectionist. So that's the goal. All shots on target. Only the 2 second half, but could it be a swing in momentum? Not expected to win. Don't forget what Bosun mentioned about Ajax. A win takes them the same points as PSV. But do check as well. Do check if they've got any upcoming fixtures in the Champions League, of course. Saw Dortmund losing yesterday. I'm not sure if Ajax are playing. We'll soon find out. Fortuna Sittard, I've got a couple of tough matches coming up, AZ Alkmaar and Ajax. Ajax are playing Union Saint-Gilloise on the 13th. So that could be a negative today. Well, they did win either side of that loss to Rigas. Any others for any others? Europa League losing to AZ, but that's a local derby. And a win. So that was Almere. Got the win today, Almere, against Utrecht. So you've got to be very, very cautious this stage of the season. So there's plenty for these two to play for. There is a Europa League distraction for Ajax. It could see them just rest a few of their key stars. That's the problem. Then you get that team who are not the usual first 11. At least Mr. Brobby's up front. He's the usual goal scorer. And Jordan Henderson, his obscurity in the Eredivisie. Wonder if that's going to cost him his England place. I'm not sure what the first 11 is. It would be really well worth finding out for these elite sides who the first 11 is, particularly Champions League sides. Weghorst, is he ex of Man United? He's come back. David Klassen for Jordan Henderson. So it's all a matter of whether they're up for it today. That's the only negative, Bosun, for taking on that draw. Of course, had we been a little more alive to it, we could have taken that draw on second half. I think Spezia and Palermo is a go, isn't it, for the second half? It's one-way traffic. Huge motivation for Spezia. This was what I'm talking about. If you can get involved somehow at 108, and if it doesn't materialise, with Lazio it did. If it doesn't, you can get out with a marginal loss if you start seeing the momentum go down. Spezia Palermo, certainly one I think for a play a bit later on. So let's get Spezia and Palermo up. Now, need to see what Spezia +1 is going to be like, because that's quite high, isn't it? Relatively speaking. quite high, 1.27, but you've got to take your insurance out. Mr. Brobby's been removed from the field of play. Are they bringing on Noel Edmonds for the second half? Or Timmy Mallett, he might come on for the second half. Up front with Sue Pollard. That would be an excellent front two instead of Mr. Brobby. So relatively high insurance premium. I think Spezia +1 is likely to be a little too skinny, isn't it? Relative to 1.27, probably going to be 1.75, something like that. 1.8. There we go. Look at that. Nailed that one. So that does normally make you want to head off to the match odds, but you've only got a half for them to score 2 goals in. That's the negative. If you want to have a look at the return here, net profit, you take 10 quid away from that. So that's an option. The other option, more risk, more reward, of course, but it leaves you with a loss on the draw. We just need that pressure for Spezia to turn up. They tend to score 60th minute onwards, don't they? So you're getting really good odds and you get a really decent reward. So that's the possibilities there. That incentivizes you, if we do get a draw, to try and look for that. Just that incentive. £4 loss, to aim for that. I think +1 would be okay if it was a net profit. 19 quid, I would take that. But it's one-way traffic. We do know very strong scoring habit second half. So I'll just mention that one to telegrammers, Spezia and Palermo. More verbal messages because it's a live stream. But Spezia, third in Italian Serie B. Spezia are a goal down to Palermo, 10th in the league. 4 shots on, 13 off, 5 corners, 30 dangerous attacks for Spezia. 1 shot on target, 1 shot off, no corners for Palermo. It looks like one-way traffic, doesn't it? So with that in mind, I've laid over 1.5 goals and I'll be looking. Well, I've had to go match odds because there's not much of a return in the +1. Half stake backing Spezia about 4.3. Half stake is liability, laying Palermo at odds on. Could do with a goal before the 60th minute, but Spezia's vast majority of their second half goals at home have been scored post 60 minutes. So let's hope that that first half form continues into the second and we get a breakthrough from Spezia early enough to get that odds moving. So it does look a good play, doesn't it? But when we're heading down to these lower tiers, you saw with Crewe Alexandria yesterday, second time I've backed those clowns and they have failed. So that's League 2. This is Italian Serie B. So just be careful when we head down to these lesser leagues. You're more likely to hit just a spanner in the works, basically. I did all my checks yesterday with Crewe. Looked as if they were well up for it. Dominating the in-play stats, dominating everything. Yet I think they lost, was it 0-2 or 0-3? Something stupid like that. Well, looks like Tenerife won't be continuing the upsets for the relegation threatened sides. No win for them today, no precious points for them. It's a bet to nothing, really, Servette and Basel. Ajax just scored a penalty, says Bosun. So, sorry, that hasn't come up. Again, this isn't working for me today. There we go. So if you did lay the draw second half, I've had a reasonable argument too. Bosun's motivation that Ajax would go top. Same points as PSV with a win. If that's enough for you to want to lay the draw, by all means do. But I missed a trick there. I should have laid over 0.5 goals at half time and then looked to lay the draw. Let's have a look at Austria Klagenfurt and Salzburg. Salzburg have been another one of those Champions League sides who've just fallen off the radar, like Man City earlier on, Leipzig, and a few others. So have a look at that one. I'm just going to get rid of a few of these as well. Just tidy this up. This is in alphabetical order. It's been reviewed by VAR, says Bosun. Thanks very much for your updates, Bosun. Much appreciated. So the Ajax goal is being disallowed or checked. It does look a good one to lay that draw, doesn't it? But it's also a warning. If the only opportunity they've had is via a penalty, Sittard could be just doing a little bit too much, or Ajax could be a bit distracted by European club competition in the Europa League. We'll get rid of that. Niger, Luxembourg, Olympiacos, well worth following today. English FA Cup, Plymouth against Liverpool. I've got a feeling Liverpool might just edge this one, but watch out for multiple team changes for Liverpool. We saw some big team changes yesterday. These should be odds-on favourite goals coming in, are they? Looks like that goal, is it allowed? It's given. So if you followed Bosun's advice or his argument that Ajax have the motivator to end that 0-0, then off you go. 0-1. And the fact that the odds-on favourite scored first means that the draw odds are going to go much higher. So thank you very much, Bosun, for your contributions there. And I hope you've profited from it. It's just difficult, isn't it? Weighing up, are they going to fire blanks pre-European club competition? Swarovski Tyrol, 72nd minute, 5 shots on 11 off, 4 corners. Looks like most of that was done in the first half, as you can see by the momentum graph there. But certainly on the radar. 9th in the league. Union Saint-Gilloise, 3rd in the league. Red Bull Salzburg, very quiet match for them. They've been pretty poor. Look at that, 5 consecutive defeats for Salzburg. Awful stuff. So let's just get rid of a few more of these. Just tidy this up. And have a quick waltz through. So we're just hoping for a 2-2, but it's not going to cost you much. 11 key changes for Liverpool. Surely they'll be able to beat Plymouth. Well, you can check the team news here. 1.17 suggests an easy time of it. So let's have a look at the team changes. I wonder if Kenny Dalglish will be getting a game today, along with Ian Rush up front. Arne Slot's grandmother as a left back. Federico Chiesa's getting a game today. So nice to see him. But totally changed 11, isn't it? It's the second tier playing Tsimikas. Still, they've got 1 or 2 quality strikers up front who are likely to make the difference. McConnell, don't know much about him. Endo, nice to see him back centre midfield, but he hasn't had a sniff of action, has he? Harvey Elliott, Nioni, don't know much about him. Kwanzaa, Gomez, sometimes a first 11 player, and Tsimikas, Robinson's number 2. Do we have any cavalry? Well, Darwin Núñez. No. Mo Salah, he's given a break today. Darwin Núñez to get them out of jail. I think Arne Slot is expecting a comfortable win. regardless of the 11 he puts out. Plymouth, well, I don't know much about them, but we will see. You have to use in-play stats, I'm afraid, with the cup. Can't make assumptions. So it's a very competitive game for Newcastle yesterday, wasn't it? Salzburg are out of Europe. Have no more excuses for their poor play this season, says Bosun. Indeed. I wouldn't be trusting them today, though, with stolen money. They were dominating the second half, Bosun. But look at that. All those L's. Champions League, though. Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, fair enough. European friendly, ignore that. Elite club friendly, ignore that. Must have been a winter break. Must have been a winter break, I think. 14th of December. And this looks like the return to the Bundesliga, doesn't it? So, again, you've got that caution there as well. Certainly one for a 106, 109 if you fancied that. Salzburg need to put this to bed, don't they? This losing sequence. 9 shots on target now for Basel. Can they make it a 2-2? Looks like the clock is going to be running out on them. There's that Ajax goal. Highly unlikely they're going to be challenged now, I would suspect, but we'll be warned about that. Austria Klagenfurt, well, I'm not going to be playing. It's a comeback from a winter break as well. Cagliari and Parma, 16th against 18th, is a relegation 6-pointer. So that draw could be vulnerable for a 106, 109 later on. Cagliari and Parma. So let's have a look. Well, I think an initial look at the league positions, well, maybe not. You'll get that here. Cagliari and Parma. Live standings, of course, will tell you where they are relative to each other. So let's have a look. Cagliari and Parma. Relegation 6-pointer. 21, 21, 22. Take 3 points off your nearest rival. Broaden the gap. So the incentive is on Cagliari to make that into 24 points. They're up to near 13th. Parma with a win today goes to 23. They'll be up near 13th. More importantly, with Empoli losing to AC Milan yesterday, they must do something, these two. As the second half begins, it would have been a good one to lay that 0-0. Let's just show you that one. I just missed the opportunity. This is what I would do. Because this might be a tight one. But we've still got the incentive of a goal, haven't we? So laying over 0.5 goals covers the 0-0. Now we just sit on it. There we go. We just sit on this now. Hope we get a nervy second half with a concerted 0-0 for a while. Looks like, well, Basel got a goal, didn't get the second, but they're not priced to win today. 2.9. Got to be wary of that. Swarovski Tyrol could be a 109, 106 late on if this pressure continues, but is it mostly first half pressure? It is, isn't it? There's no second half shot on target. 6 shots off target second half for Tyrol. 2 corners second half, so nothing. So the enthusiasm has waned, hasn't it? But then they're starting to rise as we get to the end of the match. Salzburg, just can't trust them. Awful this season. Cagliari and Parma, certainly motivation is huge to get rid of that draw. So for me, the later they score, the more chance they have of grabbing the win. That could play into our hands because I'll be waiting, trying to get odds on at least, like I did yesterday for the Leverkusen and the Mainz matches, both ending 0-0, but I broke even. But you're always worrying because as soon as a goal is scored, that's ended your insurance premium, hasn't it? Regina and Cesena. Don't know much about that. 2.45 the favourite, so just take that one off the watch list. Lazio, job done really, wasn't it? If you got that goal before half time, well done. 1.98 for over 0.5 goals with those stats. Very nice return. Values in the eye of the beholder. Cremonese, 4th against 17th, but nothing showing yet from struggling Sud Tirol. Rijeka, I think, have a chance here against Istra. 1.57. Look at Bochum coming from behind to lead 1-2 in another relegation 6-pointer clash against Holstein Kiel. Rijeka and Istra. Let me just have a look at this one. Could be coming off the back of a winter break, which is the big negative. But why are Rijeka such strong favourites? Can we play this one? Probably lacking the liquidity you're going to get from the elite leagues. That's the problem. Having a look at the goal. Well, Georgi Gagua, 38th minute goal there. Right, members only content. He's messing me about now. So let's see if I can bypass this one. Rijeka and Istra. I've got my ad blocker off, so I don't know why they're doing all this. Only the one defeat all season. And Olympiacos have conceded the first goal. That could be an angle in as well. Ollie are at home today. Only one defeat all season. Are they really going to suddenly lose 2 consecutive matches, Rijeka? Not too convinced. Just scored 2 goals against Osijek, 2 consecutive goals as well. So that's a slight concern for Rijeka. I don't like 2 consecutive goals. And again, scoring 2 consecutive goals against Lokomotiv Zagreb as well. Don't like that as far as doing insurance premium. Looks like the Asteras Tripolis goal has been disallowed. But will Rijeka really lose suddenly 2 consecutive matches? I'm not that convinced. They've done the vast majority of their wins against 6th and lower at home, including 2 consecutive wins against this lot. So it does look a good one. We can have a look. So we're just sitting on this one. Wait for the draw to get lower and lower. Rijeka and Istra. Looks like that Asteros goal might be allowed. Insurance is relatively high. And Rijeka +1 is at about evens. Have I missed it? Looks like I might have missed it. So I'm just waiting for confirmation if there is a goal or not. There's a confirmation of the Asteros Tripolis. You can see 1.25 home favourite. That could give us an angle in. Just got to wait for such an early goal. This might be a good opportunity for the both teams to score. No, from John H. Looks like that's a false alarm. Got to check the in-play stats out for Rijeka as well. 2 shots on, 2 shots off. Very little to tell us. Most of this first half stuff. 10 minutes into the second half, they haven't shown anything just yet, but a couple of periods of dominance. You can see that there and there. One piece there and one piece there. You can see concerted momentum from Spezia. Can they get that goal that we seek? So I think we're in with a good shout here for Rijeka against Istra. Yes, they lost 1-0, but if they only lose 1-0 today, we can have that one covered. But they haven't reacted stats-wise. Might not be a full service in Croatia as far as the stats is concerned. So the insurance is going to cost, if you want to get involved, laying over 1.5 goals, going to cost you about 20 quid. And because it's a second half, I might have to just stick with this. Match odds, of course, you're getting really well rewarded, 5-1, and you can lay them at odds on. So that is very tempting as well if you want to do that route. +1, you make a reasonable return, relative. So it will be a return similar to the Spezia match, if you're using the +1 there, of about 20 quid. Suspended market, is that Palermo? Is it Spezia? Just waiting to hear. No, no sound just yet. So wait for Tyrol. No, we're not going to wait, are we? Because I've had no shots on target. So even though that looks impressive, don't forget you need to know your times. Cagliari scoring against Parma. I've missed that opportunity to lay the draw. I was expecting this to be a lot tighter. 58 minutes. What a pity. 2-0 to Lazio against Monza. Not a going day for struggling Monza. Olympiacos. Let's just check that one out. If you can get evens about Ollie, that would be excellent. 1.25 shot. Well, you're not, are you? You're getting 1.77. So that's the negative there. Half time 1-1 at 2.76. 2-1. Well, it's a bit illiquid, isn't it? At 5.6. Any unquoted? No, it's ridiculous. I wish I'd get these markets sorted out because they are very handy. First half goals 2.5 for a 1.25 shot. 3.2. We can just get that equaliser. I might just take my insurance out now because it's not going to cost you anything. And just sit on it. Hopefully we get better odds about Olympiacos. I want to get evens at least. So that's if they score like Cagliari just did, I'm only going to lose £2.40. So I'm not going to be too concerned with that. So let's just have a quick look through. Red Bull Salzburg, up to you, just based on reputation, if you wanted to lay the late draw, 109, 106. But they, as Bosun says, they've just been in very, very poor form this season. Like Man City earlier on, Leipzig really affected by this new look Champions League, Salzburg. They've actually had, I think, 3 consecutive matches where they failed to score in the Bundesliga, which is unheard of. Cagliari and Parma, well, we were going to get some pressure on this. It's a relegation 6-pointer. And Ollie, 1-1 already. So yet again, I'm not picking this value play out here. If you think about it, 3.2 for over 2.5 goals with a goal already scored. It's quite good for a 1.25 shot, isn't it? So if you did that yourself, well done, because you're going to see it start to drop markedly. The only real value I had, I suppose, 1.77 down to 1.3. It's all up to you if you see value in it. 1.77. That's a 15 quid return there. But what you could do in a case like this, perhaps, is put the full stake on rather than splitting it. That gives you a better reward, but it's also a bigger risk because you've got an equal amount on the draw. But you can see that 1.77 now all the way down to 1.3 just for that single goal. So if you're strictly looking at backing to lay, that would have been a good option there. But I was waiting and hoping could get evens or thereabouts for Olympiacos, but clearly market getting them right today. So let's work our way down. Cremonese Südtirol, well, nothing showing from the away side, so I'll just take that off the watch list. I think Rijeka have a good chance on paper. Their only recent defeat was a 1-0. Are they really going to lose 2 consecutive matches after not losing all season? It stretches the imagination a bit, doesn't it? That's what I'm hoping there. But they're very unconvincing stats at the moment. Spezia, we were just looking at them picking up the baton from the first half, but they've not turned up yet second half, have they? Just the 3 shots off target and 2 corners. It's really not good enough. Just a 1 shot on target, 1 shot off. So arguably Palermo with a better second half performance. Lyon and Reims, watch out for the potential for Reims to bite late on. So many draws for Lyon recently. 1-1, well, Europa League, and 0-0 in the Europa League again. A 1-1 and a 0-0. Problem scoring that second goal. Apart from that Marseille derby match. So could be a tricky one. We've already had upsets today for these relegation threatened sides. Bochum, relegation 6-pointer. Might not be over, but clearly Bochum enjoying this one. Südtirol have equalised. Relegation threatened Südtirol. I wouldn't have trusted them, but this is what you're getting at this stage of the season. These kind of recoveries. Union St-Gilloise 18 minutes in. Just starting to warm up a little bit there. Plymouth and Liverpool. As you know, the draw is in play. So Liverpool is just playing a waiting game, basically. The later they score, or if they can take it to extra time, the team fitness is likely to come out. Bring on Darwin Núñez or someone, and off we go. Let's bring up some of the other matches to look at. Evans favourites Cordoba today. This is bottom or thereabouts against top Racing Santander. We played them last week and they delivered last week. So top of the league. This is ripe for an upset, isn't it? Look at the market. 2.5 the favourite, even though it's first against 18th. That tells you everything about this stage of the season. The market makers aren't confident, even with the league leaders. Zurich against St. Gallen. We'll wait for the in-play stats there. 3-0 now to Lazio. Valencia, well, notably, their 2 defeats have come, conceding something like 12 goals to Barcelona. Now they're inserted as odds-on favourite at home. That might be telling. The sudden shift to odds-on favouritism after being tonked yet again by Barcelona. So that could give us a clue as to what we're expecting from them today. It was quite good in the Super League yesterday. I hope you played Lausanne, I think it was. Coming from 0-1 to get a late equaliser. They were absolutely bossing that match all the way through. There's the Ajax one. Looks like Sittard putting in a late shift. But Ajax could survive that one. A lay the draw, as Bosun suggested, with the need for 3 points to take them level with PSV Eindhoven, who had a draw yesterday. Another cock-up for PSV. Awful stuff. Südtirol, 17th in the league, have got an equaliser in the 61st minute against 4th Cremonese. Both teams plenty to play for. Cremonese and Südtirol. Let's have a look. Plenty for both to play for. Well, why don't we just have a look here at the live standings. Try to get into the habit of this. It's a lot quicker. Tells you the story today. Cremonese 4th in the league. Add 2 points to that. We'll break the 40-point barrier. They've got Catanzaro, Bari breathing down their necks. Palermo, Cesena, Juve, Stabia breathing down their necks. So incentive for 2 extra points to break that 40-point barrier. Their opponents today, Südtirol, are only a point above the automatic relegation spots. 2 points away from 28 points, which will bring Mantova, Sampdoria, Reggiana, Brescia into the relegation fold. So, wow, talk about even this early in the season relative to its ending. 2 consecutive wins as well for Südtirol. Been following them with interest. This was the loss to Sassuolo. Gave Sassuolo plenty to think about. 5-3 defeat there. Then 2 consecutive wins. Can they get another win? Can you imagine had they not got those 6 points, they would be bottom. This is what happens at this stage of the season. That's why you've had so many upsets already today. Ajax making it 0-2, confirming their odds-on status there. Won't be playing the Togo Premier Division today. I know a lot of you turned up just for the Togo football. Estoril, odds-on in the Primera Liga. Get my attention. Any odds-on favourites? Because the market's already done the work for you. The US Forces Army women are playing today in Burkina Faso. That would be a fascinating fixture there. Wonder what formation they'll have. Rijeka looking okay. 2 shots on, 4 off and 2 corners. Not really knocking it out the park, are they? So I'm a bit worried going match odds here. That wasn't the good move. Hopefully I went +1. We're missing the draw here, Cagliari and Parma, which is a pity. I was hoping this would be a tighter affair for a lot longer. Another woeful performance from Salzburg on the comeback from the winter break. Cagliari and Parma. Well, I was just looking for that draw to end. Plenty for these two to play for, Cremonese and Südtirol, isn't there? 2 consecutive wins now for Südtirol, taking them out from bottom of the league. Another win today could take them out of the relegation zone. So, fascinating fixture. That draw could be vulnerable late on. Let's hope we get that equaliser for Rijeka. We've got the insurance covered. Spezia as well. Just gone off the map a little bit, haven't they? Which is the kind of thing I saw with Crewe yesterday. Absolutely bossed everything, but just didn't turn up. So it's a very quiet second half performance from Spezia. Don't forget, when you've done insurance, you can always bail. Particularly when they've not ignited like you hoped they would. This is a great thing about insurance, particularly if you go +1. I'm not sure I did on this occasion. I think I went match odds, which was the wrong choice. Because it's going to be out of kilter. If you go +1, that amount will equal that amount. You'll have a literal break even. But if you go match odds, you're out of kilter. So you can get out of here now with about a tenner loss. Get out of here now with about a £13.60 loss. So that'd be a net £3.60 loss, which is tolerable, of course. Don't forget, that's always your option when you've done insurance. And it's just not ignited as you hoped it would. 66 minutes. I would have expected a goal at least, but a 60th minute. But don't forget, this is a side who've tended to score, Spezia, in the 60th plus minute. So hopefully they can remember that pattern. We can follow that down. 10 goals scored in the 60th to 90th minutes away from at home, sorry. So that's what we're pinning our hopes on. Should have gone match odds, really. Not match odds, should have gone +1. Got a suspended market. Hopefully that's one of ours. Lyon making it 2-0 against Reims, so have to be another day for Reims to pick up points. Suspended market. And it's 2-0 for Cagliari. So if you did lay that draw second half, that's your out. Emphatic. And look at the difference that's going to be making to Cagliari's season. So I was on the right lines, but I just didn't manage to lay that draw. You saw when I did it with Olympiacos recently, managed to get double my money, which was excellent. So look at the vital win. Take 3 away from that, and you're all the way down here. You're taking 3 points away from your nearest rival as well. You're leaving them in the doo-doo. That's the kind of match you look for at this stage of the season, to lay that late draw, as well as what Bosun said earlier, the likes of Ajax, motivation to go top if they can end that draw second half. So it's all about motivation at this stage of the season. Cagliari dominating 2-0. They'll be absolutely delighted with that. Shooting up the table all of a sudden with that relegation 6-pointer. I will be looking at this late on. Cremonese Südtirol, huge motivating factor for both teams, but very quiet and tepid affair, so says the momentum. Rijeka, we're still waiting for that equaliser. Good secondary stats. I like that. And they are above the brown line, which is the away side. And they have, could this be their third peak for momentum? Can they make this one count? That would be a hope. Spezia, all of this at the end of the first half was what we were looking at. And it's rather gone off the boil, hasn't it now? But as long as they can keep their opponent quiet, that's okay. I'm happy with that. If you can keep them hush, and don't forget, you can always bail out of this one and this one if you don't like what you're seeing, or if it's not eventuating the way you want it to. Lyon looks like job done against Reims. Getting rid of that draw itis, aren't they? A recent 1-1 for PSG, for Reims against PSG, is interesting. A 3-2 loss, but that's against Marseille, who are a little bit better than this lot. Can't really see a comeback myself. Banik Ostrava, 1.55, already scored first. Holstein Kiel, might be some life left in this one. It's only half time. It is a relegation 6-pointer. University Cluj, 1.3 home favourites after 29 minutes. No shots on target yet. Union Saint-Gilloise, 1.48 away side. No shots yet. Again, another were at least involved in the Champions League. Plymouth and Liverpool. Don't know if these stats are accurate, but if they are, well done to Plymouth. It is a much changed Liverpool side, of course, but still the quality. They've got 2 of the key strikers up front. It's the kind of lineup that Klopp would have put out, isn't it? Jota and Diaz, the main strike force. Just looking at the stats because they're very quiet. Yeah, 2 shots, 2 goal attempts, no shots on target for either side. No shots off target for either side. And a single corner between these two. So it's probably Liverpool going to be winding this up second half and get the job done. Rijeka warming up nicely. Just hope they can get that equaliser. Spezia have had a shot on target. Tell the grandchildren. Amazing scenes. Ah. Now that's a shocker. We could have bailed out, couldn't we? English League 2 lost yesterday. Similar situation to this with Crewe absolutely bossing. Now Italian Serie B. This is where we pick up our losses, these lower tier leagues. You can see it in front of your own eyes, can't you? So it'll be interesting to see that Palermo goal. It might not be over, but this is what happened with Crewe yesterday. Just heading off to these lower tiers is a real bind. Looks like a goal from open play. I don't understand it. I really don't. It's, you've done all your checks. It's one-way traffic. Huge motivation. And they get done. It's still, well, time is running out for a 2-goal miracle. So that's really ouch, isn't it? So be warned, you have that opportunity to click that and to click that. I'm just going to top up as I normally do, just in case we get a goal, but it's highly unlikely now, I would suggest. Same as Crewe yesterday. The lower these leagues we go. Well, Bosun's talking about the Chelsea women. Porto, Salzburg and all the other dodgy leagues, they have not lost this season. They tend to score shred load of goals. So up to you if you wanted to play that. This is just in case we get a quick response from Spezia. And you can also back with a fiver as well. So I'm willing to take the hit now. I have to. I've got no option. I've got no way of covering this. Had you done +1, you'd still be alive if it becomes 1-2. Both teams to score no is the only real way to cover this 0-2. That's the only real way you can cover it. Unless you back 0-2 now, the odds are going to be far too short. So that's a real pity. Crewe Alexandra, and now this lot. You see it in front of your eyes. You'd have probably made the same decisions as me, wouldn't you, based on this? 6 shots on, 17 off 8 corners, 40 dangerous attacks to 17. But the second half has been a little bit better from Palermo. 2 shots on target, 1 shot off, but still no corners, catching them on the break. Now, are we going to see that movement up from Spezia? So, as I've said, if you don't like what you're seeing with Rijeka, you can always cash out, can't you? You can always cash out. Bohemians and Ceska Budějovice. Well, the favourite scored first, so I can get rid of that one. Second half, we might still see something more from Holston Kiel. It is a need for points. We've got a suspended market. Could do with a 1-2 for Spezia. Not a 0-3. Just starting to light it up again, but we will see. That's Union St Gilloise, and that's Parma. And that's the US Forces women scoring the first goal. There we go. Fantastic stuff. Don't know why I got them up there. So Cagliari and Parma, I don't really need to know. But as you can see, it's a relegation 6-pointer. So plenty of second half goals. I was along the right lines. I wanted to lay that draw, but I wanted to lay it at lower odds. Didn't quite get to it, I'm afraid. So Spezia and Lazio and Palermo, I can wait for the updates on Football 24. Very disappointing that. Everything covered, like I did with Crewe yesterday, and they just don't turn up. I was looking for a late goal here, but it's already come 75th minute, which is a pity. Cremonese against Südtirol. Motivation for both sides. Huge today, isn't it? So let's have a look at some of the other matches. Anything doing today? Just get rid of a few of these. FA Cup, Rangers against Queen's Park, 1.04. So you might want to dust off your correct score between 4-0 and 9-0. Choose any 3 of them. You might be in with a shout. Odds on favourite, Liera, the Secunda. Polish Ekstraklasa, well, that's 1-1 coming to the 90th minute. Eredivisie, Twente, fraction of odds against. AZ Alkmaar, Pek Zwolle, got a recent win against PSV. Chelsea ladies have equalised, says Bosun. So Bosun is your ladies football expert. If you want to follow them, if you can find the liquidity, hopefully it's liquid. It is a league for goals. Oh, look at this. It's all day long. I would be playing this. it wouldn't occur to you that they'd concede 2 consecutive goals. We've done all our checks, haven't we? So it's disappointing. So get rid of that one, get rid of that one. Anything not today for Ream. And Egypt, Banikostrava, dominant. Any other matches of interest? Not really. So again, it's highly unlikely we're going to get this Spezia recovery. Very, very disappointing. 25 shots, 9 corners, and they couldn't score. This is the problem with these lower tiers, so you've got to be careful. Maybe go half stakes in the future, because I'm getting fed up with getting done by the likes of Crewe Alexandra, Clyde, and now Italian Serie B. You don't get this ordinarily in the top tier leagues. They're far more readable, aren't they? Serie A, etc. Bundesliga, Italian, Spanish La Liga, far more reliable. Even some of this French League 1 is a little bit more reliable. Leipzig coming up later, talk about unreliable. St. Pauli on, well, had 2 consecutive wins to nil, or was it 3 recently, but that came to an end, I think, in their last match. That was a rare run of form for St. Pauli, wins to nil in the Bundesliga. That was, I think, a record for them in the Bundesliga. Couldn't hold on against Augsburg. They needed that second goal. Didn't quite come. So they're on a real fight to get out of this relegation zone. Leipzig need to get back on an even keel after 3 consecutive draws. Union Berlin 0-0. 2-2 against Leverkusen and a 3-3 against Bochum. Bochum winning, as you can see, relegation dogfight. These two are looking for that relegation playoff place. So the onus really on Holstein Kiel to fight back second half, turn this around, make that 15 points, and they'll be in the relegation playoff place, which is the only realistic thing they need. The only realistic goal they have this season is to have another chance via the relegation playoff places. So don't like much from Leipzig at the moment. 3 draws, but they do have that goal threat, don't they? St. Pauli have been pretty poor away from home. Cremonese Südtirol, I was looking to lay that draw a bit later. A bit like the Spezia match now. Rijeka not turned up, so you can always bail out. Well, you might be right there, Bosun, yeah, about some teams happy to stay where they are as long as they're not threatened by relegation. Indeed, particularly the mid-table side, you have little to play for. But Holstein Kiel, we need a second half turnaround. We need a second half team talk. You're at home. You've been done in the first half. Unison Gilwa, we can get rid of that one. It's another kind of a typical Sunday coupon, isn't it? We're all over the land. Liverpool just turning the notch up a tad. Cordoba and Huesca 1-0. Evens favourite at home. So no surprises there. Looking for Racing Santander. Very impressive last week. Got us the nice result coming from behind. But they're not favoured today. Not even favourite. Playing 18th Burgos. So that's very interesting market, isn't it? Are Santander safe? Surely not. We've got to look into these things because it's very, very strange to see league leaders against 19th, against 18th, and they're not even favourite. by no means is their job done, is it? You've just seen the points. Racing against Burgos, already a 2-0 win. Only one defeat home and away against ninth and lower. Why on earth are they not even favourite today? Let's have a look at Burgos. And that failing to score in the last 3 matches, and they are favourite today. What on earth is this about? They've had 3 1-0 wins and a 0-1. That suggests they might be really locking up that defence today. But I don't understand the market at all. Only 1 win home and away against the top 10 this season. Failing to score against the top 3. Playing first today. Failing to score against, in 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 matches against the top 5. I don't understand this at all. Racing, 4 out of 4 wins, albeit 1-0 wins. So they could be latching onto the 1-0 itis recently for both teams. But I'm with Santander. If they turn up in the in-play stats, scoring a lot second half, both sides. 70% of goals scored and conceded second half for Burgos as well. Holston Kiel have made it 2-2. I wish I'd taken on that 1-2 Bochum Dano. That's one hell of a team talk. That would have been quite nice, wouldn't it? 1.53. Look at the change now. Should really have given that a go. It's a relegation 6-pointer. They are at home. Now that draw is going to be vulnerable, isn't it? So let's have a look at this one. Holston Kiel and Bochum. 4.5 goals. I could do my strategy if I'm hoping this will be a tentative 2-2 for a while, and then I'll lay the draw. This should be about 5 or 6 quid, and I'll hope that I can lay this draw at lower odds. So 1-2 would have been the play there, really. What a pity. Well, no shots on target, basically, since the 36th minute. Raika Insurance is paying out at the moment, but don't forget you can always cash out. And when it gets to about 1.09 in the 1.5 goal market, you can always cash out there and hope for a late equaliser to double your money. Valencia have scored first against Leganes after 12 goals conceded against Barcelona. Plymouth and Liverpool, well, an obvious lay the draw, isn't it? But the draw is always in play. That's the problem with Plymouth, with the FA Cup. And you get the feeling that some of these Premier League clubs are trying to make the match last as long as possible for the supporters of the opposing club, if that makes any sense. So you could do this now. And then just wait. Really low insurance. Just wait to see if you can get better odds about the draw. Saw it with Leverkusen yesterday. So starting now, it's not even finished. If it's going to be this quiet for about the first 15 minutes of the second half, we're going to get far better odds about laying that second half draw. Olympiacos should be pulling away from this. Again, possibility of laying the draw second half there. They did us proud last week. Laid the draw, or laid over 0.5 goals. And then I backed laid the draw in Olympiacos match at 1.48. So you're doubling your money. And they got the late goal, didn't they? So that hopefully will be a pattern today. Cordoba and Huesca, will just keep an eye on the in-play stats there. Burgos, 18th against first. Why on earth is Santander not even favoured today? Very, very strange market. Perhaps there's been a virus in the Santander camp. I don't know. Valencia, well, this is what you expect after being tonked by 5 goals or more against Barcelona. You expect a reaction. Lucerne are looking good, aren't they, against Winterthur? You've already seen Lazio scoring before half-time with similar pressure. Can Lucerne do that? Estoril and Boavista, 1.5. Why are they 1.5 favourite? Well, we can find out if it's 0-0 at half-time. Rangers, 20 minutes in. Ordinarily, I know it's a cup match, but ordinarily, you'd be looking at the possibility of goals before half-time. First half, 2.5. Look at that, just waiting 20 minutes. 1.04 shots should be battering this lot to death. Simple as that. So that's an option. Half-time score, 1-0. 2-0. Any unquoted, but looks very illiquid, doesn't it? So for any unquoted, it's the same as backing that at 6.2. Again, a little illiquid. These are just the odds put up in an illiquid market. So they're not going to be moved. The market's not moving. This is a little tighter, but it's just leaping from 1.16 to 1.19. That would be a degree of value if these odds are accurate. 1.04. 20 of the opening goal, as you'd expect, really. So we'll just look on this one with interest. 20 minutes is normally my target. And you can see it's not going to cost you too much. I would prefer the 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted, but it's just looking illiquid, isn't it? That would be generally a break even for me. 2-0 at 4.7, 6.2 again. It's just not accurate odds, are they? Just no market forces. It's a real pity. So this is generally more liquid. This is more likely. That's why you're getting shorter odds. Or you could wait and look at that. Well, laying the draw a little bit later. So 20 minutes have gone. It is concerningly a cup match. That's my only negative there. So just a cup match. Oh. Just something like that. And we hope we get a quick goal. Well, let's hope we get a Queen's Park goal, because you're going to get a reaction if we get a Queen's Park goal. Keep your liability low here. The watchword is just to delay. You don't even have to get involved just yet. We're playing the odds. 1.04 after 20 minutes. We're playing the odds, really. Bosun says that the Championship can be a really bad betting medium. Teams realise they can't be relegated, especially towards the end of the season. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of dead rubbers. So each Championship side receives £4.50. Wow, man. That's some serious dough. I know I'm joshing with you, Bosun. Spezia have a goal back. The absolute tools. And we're going to run out of time. It's 90th plus. Nothing we could have done, really. Apart from both teams to score, no. And 1-2. That's the only real way you'd have salvaged anything out of this. They've got a goal back. They have deserved it. One more goal and I'm okay. But the goal has come so late that my additional plays haven't really benefited at all. So please be careful when you're heading down to these leagues. Oh, 4.5 mil. I thought £4.50 is a bit off, these Championship sides. So you can see Rangers are warming up nicely now. Can they just get that quick goal? 25th minute, something like that. Get another one 30th minute. just to give the market an impression that they can get 3 before half time. That would be fantastic. Bochum and Holstein Kiel does look like that draw, didn't it? I did lay it. It's going to be a tight one. Who can get the next goal? Who can get that next goal? And will it be long enough for me to make a profit? Starting to get that gap now, £1.53. It's a bit of a wait, but looking at the draw odds, you can see it's a nice downward trajectory. As long as it remains 2-2, a late win, of course, absolutely vital. So that's about half time, I would say, about there. Or is it there? Just straight for a little bit. That's the impact of the goals. Draw odds. We're getting to odds on. Well, it's a bit of a way to go to get to odds on. If that trajectory continues, it's going to be a bit of a wait, isn't it? But that's my idea, to get better draw odds. You can see that really nice downward trajectory. The longer we wait, the bigger the return. And don't forget, a score draw kills this one where it stands. That's the problem. I'm not talking about a score draw now. I'm talking about a score draw at the end of the match. But it looks like Bochum have wrestled back the momentum. So let's just hope that Holstein Kiel... Yes, they've done it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Amazing. Now, if this is VAR, I will be swearing like I swore at the beginning of this session. Ah, thank the Lords for that. Spezia got the 2 goals that they need. Lovely jubbly. Now, that is very tempting indeed. So I'm going to get rid of that £49.20. Because that's going to cost me about £1. And have a shot at 400 sovs. Yeah, Trading Rod says Spezia. And Bosun says great call on Spezia. Well, it was a great call, Bosun, until about 3 or 4 minutes ago. When I was cursing. Goodness me. Now I'm going to sit on that and wait for that £400 to come my way. Surely I've got to have a change in fortune. I did get a bit of a change in fortune on my flight back. They upgraded me to business class for the second round. The Dubai to Bangkok, which is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Business class. Come on, make that 3-2. Come on, you bastards. Come on, you Spezian spaghetti-eating bastards. I'll take that all day long. £38 from what was a £49 loss. So I've evened up to my profit on the draw by laying Palermo again, 2-0 up. So do note that. But this required a little bit of luck. Who's on my Christmas card list? Let's check him out. Rijeka and Istra ends 0-1. This is why we take out insurance. Rijeka and Istra, boom. That's your money back, ladies and gentlemen. That's your potential profit there. I like these kind of plays where it's 0-1 to the death. We got that yesterday, Radomiak Radom. We got that 1-1 very, very late on. So we break even. We lose £39.20 here. We win £39.20 here. Perfect. With the right side, I would suggest Rijeka, but just another case of a big boy. 2 consecutive defeats. Wow. Have they lost a key striker? Let me just go to Spezia. I want to know who I'm thanking for saving £49 loss and turning it into a £38 profit. We've got Esposito and Aurelio. So I'll be sticking Aurelio on my Christmas card list. Giuseppe, my old pal. Only worth €374,000. But thank you very much, Giuseppe. The lad's done tremendous. Gave 110%. Not even in the squad against Cittadella. Giuseppe, my new best mate. Well done. Wow. Took a bit of work. Now, had you had your wits about you, I suppose, given the emphatic in-play stats, we could have taken on a lot later, couldn't we? We could have taken on this side again, Palermo, at very, very short odds. Hindsight, of course, is in the eye of the beholder. Hindsight's 2020 or whatever it is. Valencia Leganes 2-0. Oh, Enoch, nice to see you. Had one of your colleagues from Ghana yesterday, made some good calls. Nice to see you, Enoch, and you're very welcome. Just missed on Spezia, Enoch, which was a really good play. Holstein Kiel Bochum doing exactly what I want it to do. It's staying as is. This is going to be a nervy affair now. You've got to take points off your nearest rival. Got to. So, all this while, my laying of over 4.5 goals is turning me a small gain. But I'm not after this gain. I'm after this to act as insurance for me, to allow me to lay the draw at lower odds. Look at that lovely graph. That lovely Steffi working its way down. That's what you want to see. We want to break. I'm going to get some resistance at evens. Hopefully I can get odds on. And every minute I'm waiting means I can make a bigger potential return just with that £20. You can up it to 40 if you wanted, but that means that that loss is 12. And if you get a goal early enough, are you happy to take a 12 quid hit? So this is working out nicely. I'm expecting this to be a bit of a nervy affair now, coming to the death. Maybe a bit of sideways momentum for both teams. It's waning a little bit for the away side now. The home side is just starting. Oh, don't say it's 3-2. Sunday games are always a slippery slope, says Enoch. It's a lot more difficult than Saturday, Enoch, that's for sure. Normally on a Sunday, we're all over the houses. We've got Banik Ostrava, for example. We've just had Spezia, who got us out of jail with very, very late goals against Palermo. So we're off to Italian Serie B. We're off to the Eredivisie. Got a Scottish FA Cup, Secunda League. So you're quite right. It's not the same as a Saturday coupon, but there's still enough quality here. And at this stage of the season, we've got to take into account our league positions as well. So nice to have you along, Enoch. You're very welcome. Oh, I've just missed it, haven't I? I've just missed that lay the draw. There it is. That Desmond ending. So, no, it's not ended. You heard that, didn't you? 3-2. Unless In-Play Guru has invented a psychic stats feed, which I'll be honest, I would buy. Sponsored by Teresa Caputo and all those other fraudsters. Just said 3-2, didn't you? Heard that, didn't you? Is that a warning sign? Now we're getting to odds on. Now, the thing about this technique is it's a matter of luck when you enter the market. Remember with Olympiacos last week, I entered about 1.48. We got the goal about 1.46. So the longer I wait, the more profit I'm going to make, as long as it doesn't end in a score draw. And that's a £6 liability, so you've got to weigh that as well. So that's 19 minus 6. If I can just, well, we're at odds on now, which is excellent. So you're guaranteed to be earning more than you're risking, at least in the match odds department. This has got a fifth goal in it, you'd expect, wouldn't you? So much is at stake for these two sides. So much at stake. Plymouth and Liverpool. Well, we're waiting for the second half. I have laid over 0.5 goals in this one. I'm hoping it's going to be tight, but we're likely to see the 60th minute bring on the cavalry and normal service resumed, I think, in Liverpool's favour. But don't forget, in cup competition, the draw is in play. It's always a negative about laying a second half draw. They could just take it to extra time and then just bring on Darwin Núñez or a couple of other first teamers and just put it to bed. Olympiacos against Asteros Tripolis. Have I laid overs there? Like I did last week. Hopefully this will be tight, but it's a 1.25 favourite, so highly likely they'll make a quick response, won't they? 1.23. Not liability. Not liability. No. I think we can check that Luzerne out because Luzerne are favourite. So laying over 2.5 goals. I'll leave that as is. And hopefully Olympiacos will do what they did last week and struggle in the second half, but eventually score. But 1.25 favourite, you're playing with fire, I think, a little bit. But Leverkusen, no second half goal. So we might have something. We'll have to wait and see. This one, well, starting to get some more momentum from the home side now, as you can see, just starting to ramp it up. 70th minute, we are at odds on, so going to have to think about laying that draw at some point. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to lay it early enough that we can open up the door to a score draw because that will kill off. That is the only negative with this strategy is the score draw. If it doesn't end score draw, you're in profit. So what you can do, well, you've got a £5 gain here, which is nearly making a 1-to-1 return, which is not too shabby. But now £20 as liability, which is the amount you've insured here, £19.60 if you're being strict about it. How much are we winning now as we get down to 1.9? It's up to 21 quid. So getting better and better all the time. Rangers has 9 changes, only Hadji and Tavernier from the first team playing for Bosun. So 1.04, perhaps a little cavalier of the market. Thank you very much for that information, Bosun. And that's the problem we have playing in the cup, isn't it? That's the problem we have. Team dynamics are all absolutely thrown out of the window. Look at this, down to 1.86. I'm flirting with the goal coming in, though. That's the problem. Every moment I delay. £6 loss here. We're up to 22 here. So that brings that up to a £16 profit if it does not end in a score draw. So we're doing okay at the moment. Just got to hope that this nervousness will continue on for a little bit longer. You don't want to concede the next goal. You don't. Not at this stage of the season. Racing Santander haven't turned up. Top of the league against Burgos, who are actual favourite. Very strange market indeed. Valencia, this is what you expect after being tonked 12 goals in 2 matches by Barcelona and inserted as odds on. You take the hint. Highly likely to deliver. You saw that happen with Union Berlin last season. Failed to win any of their opening matches in the first half of the season. Suddenly inserted as odds on favourite and started winning whenever they were odds on favourite, or at least not losing. Telstar and Utrecht. Well, we've got an odds on favourite, Luzerne here. Holsten Kiel got the goal. This is the problem, you see, with my weighting. Had I gone for 1.8 there, that would have been lovely. Look at the draw odds moving to 4.5. I could have got myself out. That's the problem, you see. It's just waiting to lay that draw. 1.8 was its last. I really should have pulled the trigger, shouldn't I? I know it's, yeah, Holsten Kiel score. Look out for those, Bosun. Relegation 6-pointers. If you did lay the draw, well done. I was waiting for even shorter odds, but I should have taken that. It's a nice 16 quid if it comes in, eh? It's not too shabby. Rather than a loss now for that insurance. Luzerne, odds on. Why are they odds on today? 3rd against 12th. I think it's a league of 12. So we might have an angle here. But the dominant force earlier on is Winter Tour. So we'll wait on this one. Again, it's one of those leagues like the Rijeka match, Spezia. It's just Well, Lausanne were just brilliant yesterday, but their in-play stats were far, far better against Grasshoppers. Got that late 1-1, as I mentioned to you on Telegram. We can have a quick look if you want. Luzerne and Winter Tour. Let's have a look. Luzerne and Winter Tour. Twente make it 2-0. So let's have a look at this one. Why are they 1.5 favourite today, Luzerne? Well, only had 6 losses this season. On a run of 2 consecutive home wins. Since the winter break, they've only lost against Basel, who we know are an incredibly good side. They've got Shaqiri playing for them. And old Henry Winkler, the Fonz, getting Luzerne's first goal. Sit on it, as the Fonz would say. Winter Tour, failing to score in the last 2, conceding 5 goals. Failing to score in 3 of the last 4. Kept the young boys out. Kept Servette to a 1-1, which is a respectable. Scored in the last 11 at home is very strong for Luzerne. Can they continue that pattern today? 3rd against bottom. They've already scored 7 goals in 2 head-to-heads against this lot this season. 0-2 for Heerenveen and Twente. Kiel goal ruled out. That could be a lay the draw. Yes, it's been corrected. Thank you very much. Look at this all the way down now to 1.72. Wow. That's up to 27. So that'll make it 21 quid. 21 quid if it does not end in a score draw. 77th minute. So a bit of a blessing there in disguise, unless Bosun did lay the draw, and you'll be cursing yourself. So surely I'll take the hint now, because it was against the run of play, Holstein Kiel, and it is vital. Got to take 3 points. So I'm going to pull the trigger if we can get down a little bit further. 1.76. It's gone up a bit. Come on, down. But someone's listening and the draw odds are going up. They were at 1.73 a minute ago. Got a lot of resistance here, as you can see. 1.74. These are layers. These are backers. It's more people want to lay this draw. Now the backers are on board at 1.75. You can check the weight of money out. This will do calculations for you for weight of money. I think I'll give it a go now. 1.74. If this does not end in a score draw, I will profit. If it ends 2-2, I will break even. Luzerne have equalised already. Ah, man. Sometimes we just got to trust the market, haven't we? And this. So if you pulled the trigger, well done. Don't just wait for me, please. Red card. I wasn't aware of that, 39th minute. And that's probably a penalty in reaction to the red. So couldn't have done. And Plymouth Argyle have scored first against Liverpool. Bang goes my draw. But surely, is there any value to be had? Don't forget that the draw odds are in play. So we're not going to get much value here unless you go match odds. So laying over 1.5 goals, 1.21. Just got to confirm that Plymouth goal though first. Yeah. Has it been confirmed? Right, just got to wait. Surely it's not a 1-1 already. See, these are our odds-ons. We know Galatasaray are odds-on. We know AZ are odds-on. Plymouth are not odds-on. So just waiting on that Plymouth match. Of course, the cup is very tricky because you've made all those team changes. So it just knocks the dynamic of the first 11 out, doesn't it? So it's no gimme at all. I'm just trying to find the match. There it is. Plymouth goal was a penalty, says Bosun. So thank you very much for that. Are we going to see any of the big guns coming on? It's a very lean forward line on the bench. That's my only worry. But we have got Diego Jota and Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez. But it's mostly squad players, which is the big negative here. Don't forget the draw is also in play when you're in the cup. +1 is probably going to be far too skinny. Or maybe not. About 1.6, 1.7, 1.6. Yeah. It's a tricky one. Taking out your insurance. It's been a very good defensive display from Plymouth so far. Have they equalised already? Have to wait. AZ Alkmaar goal has been disallowed or scrubbed off. So we have to really necessarily go match odds, don't we? Because it's far too skinny in the +1s. We've seen with Spezia. If it becomes 0-2, that will be very nice indeed. Can't cash out of Liverpool Betfair. Okay. So I'm going to go half stake. So I've laid over 1.5 goals to cover that 0-1, that 1-0 for Plymouth. I'm going to go match odds because the +1 is a little bit too skinny at 1.6. So you're getting decent odds, about a 1.17 shot. So you're going to be backing Liverpool, of course, and laying Plymouth half stake as liability to leave you a small loss on the draw, which if it becomes a draw, should incentivise us to stay in. £7.80 loss on the draw. Hopefully stay in for that 59 quid for Liverpool. Now don't forget the draw is in play. That's the big negative with cup matches. Okay. So you could lay over 1.5 goals and just wait and hope that you get a better odds for the +1s. But I do like Diego Jota. I do like Luis Diaz. Salah's obviously rested today. Darwin Núñez is on the bench. Apart from that, all the other first teamers don't look like they've even gone to the match. So we don't really have any quality first teamers on the bench. That's the positive. That's the negative there. Holston Kiel and Bochum. I'm just waiting for a late goal. The later on, the more pressure there is for these two to score to clinch 3 points. Let's have a look at the live standings for these two. I'll show you the importance of an extra 2 points. Looks like Badua's having a good game for Bochum. Goal disallowed. So let's have a look at the live standings. What will 2 extra points do for these two? 2 extra points for Holston Kiel will take them to 15 and into the relegation playoff place. 2 extra points for Bochum Dano, take them to 13 and within 1 point of the relegation playoff place. So this is the survival zone here, this single place here. You're playing a Bundesliga Zwei side, got one more shot. Well, I think you might have 2 legs for the relegation playoff spot. So that's a point, doesn't help at all. It's death or glory for these two. More so for Bochum Dano. They certainly need that point more than Holstein Kiel, those extra 2 points. So it's set up nicely. So let's just hope we get a 5th goal in this match. It could be the one that clinches it. Liverpool just not showing up at all. 1 shot on 3 off 2 corners. We're going to see any team change, but they're not. It's not a strong bench. It's a very poor 1.17 favourite today. They just don't look up for it at all. Don't forget, some sides will pretend to give it their best, but realistically want to be shot of these cup competitions. Darwin Núñez has come on, 58th minute for Mabaya, who I don't know anything about. So we've got 3 strikers now. 3 of the usuals, which is excellent. Chiesa playing as well. Bit of a Darren Anderton, old Chiesa. Always got a sick note. So it's a good forward line now. But we don't really have any backup to these McConnell and Nioni, who I don't know that well. On the bench, Curtis Jones, that could be a key. Another first teamer, Curtis Jones. That's the only other familiar name. All these others look like squad players. So it is a strong first front 3, isn't it now? It's your established striking. And this guy's superb. He's normally a first teamer. Diego Jota in and out of the team. But now Darwin Núñez is on. Hopefully we can get the 1-1 and then push on for the 1-2. Antalyaspor against Başakşehirspor, over 1 first half goal, says Parkwesi Mensah. Antalyaspor and Başakşehirspor, over 1 first half goal. Here it is. Antalyaspor and Başakşehirspor. Well, they haven't started off just yet. Parkwesi, no shots on target for either side. 1 shot off target for both sides. But I wonder what their first half goal record is. You can check that out at Soccer Stats if you fancied it. You got it right with Atletico Bilbao yesterday. Antalyaspor and Başakşehirspor. Let's see what kind of a record these two have. So Soccer Stats will have all of your first half goal stats, second half goal stats, and all the rest. Best way to look, right down the bottom here. 4-0 at half time at home, 1 at full time. It's 40%. That's not very good when you're looking at a goal before half time. We've got that 0-0 strategy, Parkwesi. I don't know if you were here earlier on. Pitch Profit Footy. This is being sold at the moment. Now we've sussed out, it's using Fibonacci and it's looking for 0-0s at half time where you win. So if you can check that out, Parkwesi, pitchprofitfooty.com. My question is, how do they pick these teams? I haven't found that pattern out yet because, of course, the start of a season, you've got no form to work off. Do they do it by the odds? Do they have to be 3s or over? So interesting. See if you can solve that one. So 21 minutes in. Twente red, says Sean, against Heerenveen. Heerenveen already scoring, so keep an eye on that one. You want to have a look at the good reaction from Heerenveen, who did recently get that win against PSV Eindhoven. So Robin van Persie's the manager of Heerenveen. Well, fancy that. Wow. Robin van Parsnips is the manager. Holstein Kiel and Bochum could do with a late winner. Now, if I had waited and waited and waited, I could have got even lower odds, couldn't I? The winner could change their season. Can you imagine this now? 20 quid at 1.3. Look at the return. 66, 67 quid. If a goal is scored. Not too shabby, is it? But I was a bit worried that I would miss out with that recent Holstein Kiel goal disallowed. University Cluj, 1.3 favourite. Get rid of that one. Liverpool just not turning up. 21 dangerous attacks to 25. It's just got the feel of a we don't want to be in this competition type of performance. We might take a draw and then look at extra time. That's the problem. Olympiacos and Asteros Tripolis. Well, I've waited for 15 minutes now. How have the draw odds got on there? So let's have a look. See, this has got legs, this strategy, but you do lose a bit of liability in each time if you get an early goal. So there we go. I'm up to £1.92 there, £4.60 liability. This has gone down from about, was it fours? There's really no return yet, is there? You're flirting with disaster here, I'm thinking. Because they're 1.25 pre-match, so they're bound to be utterly dominant, and it's just going to be a matter of time, isn't it? Asteros Tripolis not giving anything, you can tell by their flat lining there. Holstein Kiel and Bochum, if you wanted to do 109, 106, I wouldn't put you off that. There is a good story behind this 2-2 ending, but the clock is not our friend. So if you wanted to do 109, you would do 1.09 to win 23 quid. Keep your liability at 2 quid. Then you'll do 1.06 to win 32 quid. Keep your liability under 2 quid. Make about 50 odd quid if you can get that late winner. Don't forget, as things stand, £17 green, £15 green. So it's an effective break even at the moment. I could cash out of that. Near enough the end and hope we get a late goal and double up. That's a good idea of Paul's. So that's worked out quite well, because now I break even if I don't see a goal. I profit if I do see a goal. As long as it's not a score draw before you've got involved. This, if it ends a draw, I'm okay. Liverpool just not turning up, are they? This is very suspicious performance. It suggests to me they're looking for a draw and to possibly push it onto extra time and then do the business. So this is all about the cup. I don't like playing in the cup. Ollie, we're just waiting to see if we can get lower odds. Cordoba and Huesca 1-1. Don't have a strong opinion there. Don't think I'll play that one. And still, Racing Santander, top of the league, haven't turned up. No shots at all. In a strange market, very odd market. 18th against first. First aren't even favourite. Very odd market indeed. Red card for Winterthur now. 42nd minute goal. 39th minute red. So had we got involved just before the red, looking for a Luzerne equaliser because they were 1.5, we'd have done superbly, because that red card's going to doubly impact the market now. So you could look at that as a lay the draw second half as well. I know the draw odds will be high, but if Luzerne score, you're going to get double figures for that later back. Estoril and Boavista, 1.55 are leading, so I'll get rid of that one. Liera, 1.8 favourite, 0-0 at the moment. Rangers, 0-0. Again, another cup competition. And as Bosun has warned us, multiple changes. 9 changes for Rangers against Queen's Park. Who was Scottish Division, Scottish Championship. Okay. Telstar and Utrecht, well, 1.33, doing the business there. Red card for Twente, can Heerenveen, Robin van Persie's Heerenveen take advantage? Second half. AZ did have that goal disallowed, but it's come back again. That's likely all the value sucked out of that one. Galatasaray already 1.04, 1.07 pre-match. That's very strange odds for a lead. Suggests laying them. But nothing showing from Adana Demirspor at the moment. This is Antalyaspor and Istanbul Basaksehirspor, as you can see. No shots on target yet for Parkwesi, looking for his over 1 first half goal. Of course, the longer you delay, the better the odds you're going to get. And looking at recent performances, well, there's no wonder Parkwesi's gone for this one. 3 goals before half-time, 4 goals before half-time, and then a couple of single goals before half-time for all of Basaksehirspor's last 5. Only 1-0 at half-time against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Besiktas for Antalyaspor. That saw second half goals. Holsten Kiel ends 2-2. But I break even. I lose £19.34 there. I win £19.60 there. So it's a good old strategy, isn't it? And I could have got even better odds. Could have got 70 quid return had we seen a single goal. It was well worth doing this one because of the makeup of the two sides and the need for 3 points. Now they're in a spot of bother now. Olympiacos, I might be in a spot of bother because they're knocking on the door to get that winner. So don't forget laying over 0.5 goals, or in this case, laying over, was it 4.5 goals? Could save you and give you a good opportunity to get stuck in. Every time it remains 1-1, I get better odds for Olympiacos. Lay the draw. But it's going to be a slog because they're such strong favourites and they're on the cusp of scoring that goal. 2.5 goals, well, £4.60 liability there. And you're only going to make that there. But it's been a real slog for this draw, these draw odds to drop because you've got such a strong favourite that you're not going to get anywhere near the slope we had in that other match, the Holsten Kiel match, nice and low. See, the angle is a lot leaner, so it's taking its while to break through. It's not even gone through 3s yet, so that's well, the market thinks a goal is imminent. Well, it has got through 3s, just about. But you see the problem we have there. Such a strong favourite, we're highly likely to see the goal. But the longer I wait at 1-1, the better odds I'll get for that lay the draw. That's 3 consecutive matches now where it's paid off, break even. Looks like we're going to get a good reaction from Heerenveen second half after a Robin van Persie team talk. 1 shot on, 6 off 4 corners, 20 dangerous attacks to 3. Good reaction. Recent win against PSV Eindhoven as well. For Heerenveen, they won't be fearing anyone, but on a run. Well, a 2-2 against Fortuna Sittard, 2-2 against the Quick Boys in the Cup, and 2+ goals against NAC Breda. Lost to Ajax, and a 0-1 loss to Groningen. But Twente are scoring and conceding in 4 of the last 5. Possibilities that they have done so again, of course, but possibilities here of taking on that Twente lead. Odds on favourites. Galatasaray, well, the only value there is to lay them. Antalyaspor, Başakşehirspor, still no shots on target for these two. Don't forget, 40% 0-0s at half-time for Antalyaspor. Quite a high percentage if you're going to be taking on that first half goal. But based on Istanbul, lots and lots of goals before half-time for Paquezi if he's still interested in that particular play. Spanish Youth League and the Tequera, we'll get rid of a few of them. Get rid of all this. They're supposed to be siestaing, aren't they, about this time? Valencia, job done for them. Absolutely no worries today. Forenza Nacional, 2.25 the favourite, no interest. Lechia Gdansk, Lech Poznan, odds on favourite, just beginning. And the Eredivisie, well, just a 1-0 lead for AZ Alkmaar. We'll get rid of a few of these lower tiers. Juve, Stabia and Bari. I'll keep an eye on that one. Leipzig and St. Pauli. Tough match, but let's have a look at this one. Leipzig and St. Pauli. Have a look at this in greater depth. Leipzig and St. Pauli. Likely to see a St. Pauli struggling to score away from home, I think. Leipzig 5th, but they've gone through some wobbles recently. That was a rare old form for St. Pauli. 2 consecutive wins to 0. First time, I think, in their history in the Bundesliga. 3 consecutive draws for Leipzig. Losing to Wolfsburg is their only home loss. So they do all their good work at home. But losing away to Dortmund and the Hoff and Bayern and Stuttgart. 3 of those sides in the Champions League. So arguably, it takes a big side to beat them, doesn't it? St. Pauli did beat Stuttgart recently. They'll be looking for a bit of that. Champions League Stuttgart. 21. There's Racing Santander's goal. 64th minute. Strange market. Wow, looks very, very good value, doesn't it? If I opposed the market there. 2 goals scored against Heidenheim. Looks like this Eggestein is a key to their success. Johannes Eggestein. Eggestein. And Dwi Vologi. But watch out for Eggestein. We'll need him playing today at his best. Why on earth were Racing Santander 3.9? I don't understand. Very strange. No draw in 10 away for St. Pauli, so you'd be looking to lay any late draw. They are too near the relegation dogfight. Leipzig, well, 3 clean sheet wins out of 4 against the bottom 4. 0-0 against St. Pauli last time these two met. Clean sheets against 12th, 13th and 18th at home. So if St. Pauli do score, I don't think they'll be able to score that second. They did against Freiburg and they did against 15th and 16th, but that looks an anomaly, doesn't it? Away for the away side. Home for the home side. Could be substitutions here. Leipzig, very strong starters the second half at home. So watch out for that if it's 0-0 at half time. Might want to look at getting that draw straight away. And if they don't concede first half, they tend to go on and win, you'd suspect. Lechia Gdansk have scored first against odds on Lech Poznan. Still no news for Liverpool. It's one of those, let's pretend we're interested in a cup run and get the bleep out of this competition because we've got too much on our plate with the league title and with the Champions League. 78th minute, only the 1 shot on target. Any more subs for what is a very weakened below par Liverpool? This could be another one where you could lay Plymouth as late as possible. Doherty coming on. I don't know anything about Doherty at all. Trent Kone Doherty, age 18, another centre forward. Been playing for the under-21s. So this is all about the FA Cup. He's got a bit of the old Sideshow Bob haircut, which is fantastic. It's always to be encouraged. It's just not Mark Cucurella anymore. We've got Mr. Doherty with his Sideshow Bob hair. Let's have a look at Olympiacos. Draw odds getting down. See, it's a real slog, isn't it? Only 2.54. We're flirting with disaster here. So I have to wait. This is a very odd performance from Liverpool FC today. 1 shot on target, 5 off, 3 corners, but a very strong forward line. It could tempt you in again. Not match odds, but Liverpool +1. Well, 2.4. Over 1.5 goals. Oh, it's not much, is it? It's about a 1.5 return. So you could cash out £14 here. Make a £6 net loss here if it's just not going away. That's why I prefer +1 here. The draw's in play, don't forget. So this could be one for a very, very late lay the draw. Very late lay the draw. I'll just get the chat back up. Sorry, I've lost it. I don't know what I'm doing with this thing. Live chat. There we go. Back up. Just wanted to refresh it. So this one is very strange. The Liverpool one. Don't know what to do here. Highly likely, if we can get Plymouth on at very short odds on, they will be layable, won't they? Olympiacos still not crossed the line yet to make it 2-2. 74th minute. It's about the same time as their goal last time. 4 shots on target for them. 63rd minute was the last one. That's good news for me. So as long as this remains 1-1 for a while, I can lay the draw then at value and do what we did with Holston Kiel, at least break even if it's not a score draw. That's the key to success. Luzerne and Winterthur with that red card in play. Let's have a look. Are they going to struggle to get through? Well, you could always do this again, couldn't you? And then hope they struggle. Like Olympiacos are struggling at 1.25 odds. So this gives you the confidence to have a go, doesn't it? And not be afraid to get a 0-0. It's going to be a long time before this drops because we've got a red card in play. So that's effectively going to do the same to the market as a goal. You can see that drop and then that drop. Almost the same as a goal, isn't it? The impact of that red. Not as significant, but ever so slightly. It's about 3/4 the equivalent of a goal. That's what we've got to battle to get the draw odds back going down again. So this is highly unlikely to come off. I've got no value at all here, unless you wanted to double your stakes, but still. That's the return, look. So delaying is the only way to create value there. No other way of doing it. Unity and Gilward doing a job today. already 2-0 up. I'll get rid of a few of these. Slaven Belupo and Locomotive. We'll keep an eye on that one. French League 1, Strasbourg, Montpellier. Bottom of the league, got a rare pair of wins recently. Cannot be discounted. 2.75 the favourite. Mid-table mediocrity for these two, Auxerre and Toulouse. Let's get rid of these. AZ, well, it's a tenuous 1-0 win. 1-0 lead. Pek Zwolle scoring 3 recently against PSV, didn't they? I thought Blau-Weiss Linz scored. This is a local derby, so be very careful. You know what I think about derby-style matches. They can be tough to predict. Farenza against Nacional, 14th against 17th. Possible relegation 6-pointer for Farenza. Still, it's 1-0 to Plymouth Argyle. You would think there'd be a Liverpool equaliser there at some stage, wouldn't you? But this is what the gamble the manager takes. Field the nippers, and then you've got an excuse when you're out of the cup, and you can focus on the title and the Champions League rather than this cup run. But you just get that feeling in your water, even though they've just had the one shot on target. It's very near identical stats, which is very strange, isn't it? For, was it English League 2, is it? I'm just guessing. Oh, 85th minute. For those of you seeking a bit of value, you could see Plymouth layable at some point. Well, Burgos get the equaliser. So have the market called that one right today? If you wanted to cash out, 19 quid here and 25 here. So as I say, if you go +1 and overs, it's effectively a break even if you decide to bail. Now we've got the draw in play with the clock running out. Unless they do a Spezia and get us out of jail. But if they do get a late draw, you're going to make a £16 loss, £9.20 here, £7.80 here. That's the negative, being this late in the match. It might be tempting to just top up a little bit on Liverpool, because if they do get an equaliser, or do get a goal, then those odds of 17, you bet, are going to drop markedly. Leipzig have scored first against St. Pauli, and that's likely to spell trouble for St. Pauli. Could have done with Leipzig scoring first, St. Pauli scoring first today, from a trading perspective at least. So I'll just top up on Liverpool a little bit as their odds go up. Hopefully use the averaging. Let's say we've got plenty of extra time. They get a goal in the 89th minute. They could arguably push on and get the win. Don't forget the draw is in play for Liverpool today. So that will be something that they'll be targeting if they want this run. So we're up to 22s now, just a back for a quid. Bring that up to 100. There we go, up to 96 quid there. Just no show at all from the away side. Just starting a little bit now, aren't they? But this is flirting with disaster in the cup. Just got that feeling the equaliser will arrive, don't you? But the in-play stats are certainly not suggesting that at all. Nowhere near a dominant display from the Reds today. Nothing at all anywhere near 1.17. It's because you're making multiple team changes, and it just knocks everything out of kilter. How often have these players played with each other? So that's the dynamic. Don't forget Ollie. All the time I'm waiting, I can be laying the draw at lot lower odds in the Ollie match. Got to 1.47. Look at the It's gone all the way from 4.5 all the way down to odds on. It's been a hell of a slog, hasn't it? Taken an age to get any value out of this. We are at odds on status now. So you will be, if they score, minus £4.60 here, of course. So that's not too bad. 16 quid for a 1.25 shot. So they did score 1.48 odds last time. Liverpool is done, says Pakwesi. Well, it's the cup. Be looking for a possible late equaliser because there is no replay in the cup, but it's a very strange Liverpool performance. I'd have been interested to watch this one. Something not clicking with them at all today. But you wouldn't put it past them getting a late equaliser. We're talking trying to lay Plymouth at as low odds as you possibly can. 24 quid. Wow, this is getting quite good. Well, the market getting it right for Burgos today. So maybe Racing Santander have an illness in the camp. It's the top of the league, not even favourite. So you've got to really think about the market, don't you? First against 18th, not even favourite. Ashley says that Slot has given too much respect to Plymouth today. Well, maybe he's overestimated Plymouth or underestimated Plymouth by putting squad players out who couldn't cope. But it's a very, very strong front three. And you've got Sideshow Bob Doherty as well. He's a centre forward as well. That's a lot better, isn't it? 26. I'm going for that. So this strategy works for Olympiacos. That's all I'll say. Now, all I have to do now is sit back and I'll be making an evens return or just over an evens return if we get a winning goal, or I'll break even otherwise. 6 minutes, 5 minutes plus, 6 minutes to go for a 1.25 shot, dominating the match. Fingers crossed, eh? Here comes the late charge for Liverpool FC. Fergie time, 9 minutes. This is when Liverpool could turn this into a draw and then push on in extra time and go through. 34s now. Again, just 50p is probably better at these odds. I don't want to place two bets, so I don't know what happened there. So that's up to 127. You start just taking a bit out of the draw. Just see if we get that late equaliser. These are really good odds. Plenty of time left. Just trying to eat into that £9.80 without it costing me too much. So we've got the majority of this covered by the insurance at the moment. £39.20 versus 43. So that's not too harmful. Just get that feeling, Liverpool, of starting. Well, they threatened it for a second, didn't they? They threatened it for a small moment. You're likely to see a Darwin Núñez type of equaliser. But this isn't budging. These draw odds stuck at 1.36. I even got in lower. You could do a back of the draw as well. That's the most likely scoreline. Just to reduce this while keeping this within a small fraction of that. Down to 1.29 now, so I've taken another quid out. Just trying to attack this £7.17. It's down to 6 quid now. And 50p at 4.8. Take a little bit more out of that 6. So that's down to £4.27 loss on the draw. Without it costing me too much, just an extra 5 quid. This is, you could start drip laying if you wanted at 1.25 and lower, or you could just start laying now at 1.33, because there's a good amount of extra time, you can tell that, because we're in the 90th minute and it's still trying to break the 1.3 barrier, which is taking a lot of resistance, isn't it? Really working hard at 1.29. Look, starting to drop. Small 50p on at 65s. You never know. Saw what happened to Spezia earlier on. And let's get a bit more about the draw. 5.3. See if we can drop this a little bit further. Down to 2 quid. That's a lot better. We could wait for this to hit 35, 36. But that'll have to wait till 1.1. And then we could double up if we get that late equalizer. Could green up here. And we'll make a small loss on that draw there. Of course, the lower the odds you lay, the lower the liability and the bigger the reward. So this will be a monstrous loss. But if we can just get that draw, it'll be a net loss of 10 quid. So if I'm willing to take the hit between 31 and 46, if we do get an equalizer, I will be guaranteed the green there and a small loss there. So if we get that equalizer and if I do the cashing out now, another £1 liability, take that down to 32p. There we go. Wait for this to hit something like 34 quid, which will be about 1.1, 1.09. Be a great performance from Plymouth, this. But it's all about the team changes for Liverpool, isn't it? Far too complacent, Mr. Slot. Do they have Champions League football? That is the question. Is that a reason for the mighty Plymouth Argyle doing a number over the Reds? Let's have a look. Moving on down. No, they don't. No excuses. They do have the Merseyside derby coming up against a renewed Everton, scoring 3 goals before half-time with ease. Come on, the Ollie. Could do with an Ollie winner late on. That would be fantastic. Liverpool. Oh, this could be one of those 106s, couldn't it? Just got that feeling. Queen's Park have opened up against Rangers. And again, team changes. Paying the price for team changes. 33. I'd like to get this down to 1.09. That way I will make a loss if it ends 1-0. But look at Rangers, as Bosun said. Multiple team changes. Look at Liverpool. Multiple team changes. That's the problem with pricing up the cup. You have to look at it in play stats. Those are those people who back Liverpool at 1.17. Howling Mad Murdoch. So I'm just going to wait to see if I can get this to 35, and I'll give myself a £10 net loss in the hope of doubling up. There we go, 36, 37, probably the end of the match now. Might get a late corner, but I've locked that in now. Probably the end of the match. Yeah, it is. Brilliant performance from Plymouth. I've taken a £8 loss there. Well done to Plymouth. But I think with that Liverpool forward line, this is something I think we had to do. And Liverpool's reputation. But sometimes it's a deliberate act. You can just get that feeling. Nothing doing, and then have a go late on. No urgency at all from this Liverpool side. All squad players pretty much, apart from the two major centre forwards. A great performance from Plymouth. What a result. Thankfully, didn't cost you too much. Olympiacos could do with a winner from them. Otherwise, it's a break even again. And again, I could have waited. And Heerenveen have made it 2-2. Sorry, I didn't update you on that. We saw the reaction earlier on, didn't we? That is covered by that. So all we need is a winning goal. And I will be making a net profit. Heerenveen equalise. Sorry, I lost track of that one. 53rd minute, the beginning of the second half there. I was too focused on that Liverpool match. I'm going to have to call it a day soon. It's 5 p.m. But we'll see how we get on for a little bit later. What have we got coming up? Again, the Cup. Aston Villa and Tottenham. Haven't got a clue. Watch out for team changes. Oh boy. It's a bit of a mess. These are all the odds-ons later on. Let's have a look at them. Or the ones that I've picked up. Standard Liège. Well, Westerlo favourite against Standard Liège. It's a strange market again. Sparta Prague 1.45. Aston Villa Tottenham. Don't fancy that one at all. AK Athens a bit later on. Come on, the Ollie. Get us a late winner. Or at least I'll break even if it's 1-1. Another underperforming odds-on favourite. And how? Wow. Lecce Bologna. Well, Bologna have been exceptional. On paper, they are a well-deserved favourite today. Well-deserved. And Lech Poznan odds-on have been red-carded. Real Sociedad odds-on and Barcelona in exceptional form, particularly if they're playing Valencia, who they'd like to be playing every week. 12 goals in 2 matches against that lot. Watch out for Luzerne, 69th minute. Still haven't recovered or got that goal. If they do score, it's going to make a big difference to the draw odds. They're going to go up massively to double figures. So I'll just take you through these. Just waiting to see if we get that draw for Olympiacos. You can see the effectiveness of this new strategy. We've had 5 0-0s now, and we haven't lost at all in any of those 0-0s. Which is far better, isn't it, than laying the draw beginning of the second half, and then you're just hoping that there'll be a goal. No goal turns up. Well, Montpellier have conceded. Relegation threatened Montpellier. Red card, Luzerne, 85 attacking pressure index. Can they do the job here? 20 minutes to go. 2.4. Do you see that as a bit of value? Forense Nacional, I don't play matches with 2 red cards. 1 red card for each team. It's just too messy. 1.8 home favourite Liera. No shots yet. 72nd minute. Rangers are going down against Queen's Park. Is there any value? I'd have to do a +1. Let's have a look. Rangers against Queen's Park. Well, still the market. Rangers +1 is going to be far too skinny. There, look. The difference between this, 1.39 and 1.43, you're going to be making a 1.04 gain, which is just mental. Time lapse all over, says Ashley. Finished all over. Okay. So I'll say goodbye to you soon. 1.04, that looks a bit of value, isn't it? Doesn't it? But they'll need to pull their finger out with 15 minutes to go. They could probably do it, but this is another cup match where multiple team changes have knocked the stuffing out of the very, very strong favourite. See if I can find that match. As Bosun said, you've got to be careful. 1.04 is just ridiculous. Can you imagine the layers will be having a field day with this one? And Ollie ends 1-1. So yet another break even for my strategy. So I quite like that one. Well, here come the Desses is on. Raskin, Yilmaz, Suter. We're getting some of the big boys coming on now. What I would do here, just my usual route. Laying over 1.5 goals. Bringing on the cavalry. Big problem there, but the cavalry are on. And this is a dangerous play as well, isn't it? Because Rangers have to win for this to come off. So it's up to you if you wanted to play this. The best way to do it, of course, do a little bit. Oh, lay the draw, the wrong one. Sorry. Got to get out of that one. And then lay Queen's Park. So you're going to make a bit of a hefty loss if Rangers don't pull it off. 17 quid plus that £27 loss for a £63 gain if Rangers can score. They have brought the cavalry on, which I like. That's not the match. That's the Plymouth one. Great performance from them. But all about the team, wasn't it? Completely changed Liverpool squad. Sometimes it's a deliberate act to get just to shake yourself off. Let's have a look at Rangers. I think we've seen the cavalry come on. 1.05. Is this going to be another shorty? 1.17 Liverpool down. This is more like it, isn't it? But they still haven't made an impact on Queen's Park. Anyone else on the bench? McCausland. So he's a familiar name. So up to you if you wanted to play this, but you will need a quick 1-1 to give the market a chance of expecting a 2-1. So it doesn't look good. Abandoned Galatasaray match. Break even Olympiacos, which I'm delighted with. So this Rangers match is a bit like the Liverpool one, probably best played. Oh, the Olympiacos match is finished now, so can't show you that break even. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now. It's been a long session. And Winter Tour, the red-carded Winter Tour, have taken the lead against Luzern. That could be a possible play. Strange set of results today. Winter Tour and Luzern. If you did lay the draw, you're going to get a draw odds even dropping. Look at that. If you laid the draw. Wow. If you laid the draw and Luzern scored, you get double figure for that. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now. Thanks very much for coming along. And you'll have to bear with me if I do have the odd uh, shouting match. I get frustrated when someone attacks my computer, steals a huge amount of my money, and just basically turns my life upside down. So sometimes it just gets to me, but I'm trying to remain positive and hope you've enjoyed today's session. And I'll see you members over on Telegram for a wee bit longer. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Let's see if we can find some more green screens in what has been a day to be very wary of favourites. I think we've done a good job in not getting any huge losses and picking up some green along the way. Have a great day.